I'm sorry to announce, everybody, but X-Plane is officially dead. Well, that's what you'd think if you read some of the commentary, forum posts and comment sections out there. And I know that's a dangerous thing, by the way. That is a very dangerous thing, taking any of those things seriously. But there are a lot of people who genuinely believe that once Flight Sim 2020 comes out, that will spell the end for the lights of X-Plane. It'll be gone. Exited, retired, fired, extinguished. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I don't think X-Plane's going to die at all. But before we get into that, please smash that like button down below. It lets YouTube know that you like this sort of content. And even if you don't like it, smash the like button. Just help me out. Also, I'm really interested to hear what you think about Flight Sim 2020, how you think it's going to impact the market, and also what sort of impact will it have on some of those other flight simulators that are out there at the moment. So I'll be really interested in your comments. Now, before I get into these 5 reasons, I'll just give you my position on Flight Sim 2020. And to cut a long story short, I am extremely excited for this, and how can you not be? The eye candy is unbelievable. And let's be honest, graphics have a huge bearing, particularly in Flight Simulator. So, I mean, this looks like it's really going to be groundbreaking in that respect. But also, it looks like they're paying attention to modeling of aircraft, flight characteristics, and a whole bunch of little pieces of detail that just look fantastic. Things like instrument reflections off internal cockpit windows, stuff like that. So, yeah, my view on Flight Sim 2020 is I can't wait. I am really looking forward to it. But anyway, like I said, I don't think it's going to kill off X-Plane at all. And here goes 5 reasons right now why I think that way. The first reason is limitations around specs. The reality is it's for some people, they're just not going to be able to play the game, or they're just not going to be able to play it to the level in which they expect. I mean, if you look at some of the proposed specifications, and nothing's been confirmed yet, but you're getting something like an i5 2500K 3.3 gig processor, and something like a GTX 960 graphics card. Now, neither of those are the latest technology by any means, but those are being proposed as minimum requirements. By the time you factor in having everything maxed out and producing the sort of graphics and gameplay that we're seeing, I would expect it to be significantly higher than that. And because of that, it simply will rule some people out of picking this up straight away. Internet connections could be a limitation for some people, because some of the graphics, particularly the scenery, are going to be basically data driven through your internet connection. So if you haven't got a connection that's fast enough, you're simply once again not going to be able to have the performance that you're looking for. But secondary to that, you can obviously go ahead and cache some of this, from what I understand, but that's still going to put additional load on your system, also storage considerations, all that sort of stuff. So I think the first reason I think that this won't kill X-Plane or other existing platforms is just purely people won't have the hardware to be able to run this thing either properly or to the level in which they expect. The second reason is that some people just won't want to let go of the huge investment that they've made into their existing simulator. So, for example, if you're like me, you've probably invested over the years in add-on traffic, add-on scenery, aircraft, utilities, and all that sort of stuff. And it can make it quite difficult to move on until you're 100% sure that you've got your money's worth out of what you've already got installed on your existing simulator. Now, this is not unusual even in the same platform, because I remember back when FSX came out, and we were years into FSX, so we're sort of like 2012, 5 years after it came out, and people were still refusing to transfer over to FSX from Flight Sim 2004 because they had Flight Sim 2004 running beautifully, they had a ton of different add-ons, all that sort of stuff, and they just didn't want to make the move because they had so much investment in their current platform. It's also been one of the reasons I've seen around the place why people haven't made the move from FSX to X-Plane or whatever it might be, because once again, they've just invested so much into that existing platform. So what I would expect to happen is, number one, it might stop them moving at all to Flight Sim 2020, but even if they do move to Flight Sim 2020, they'll still probably play their existing platform because it's got everything there that they need, and once again it's just that fact of all the investment they've put into it. So yeah, I think that's another reason that the X-Plane certainly won't be dead. Okay, the third reason is lack of content, and I think it's reasonable to expect that when the game launches, it is going to have, a limited amount of aircraft add-ons and all that sort of stuff. Now, there is talk that third-party developers are going to be aligned to this game, be able to pump out some content, but that certainly is going to take a bit of time. So, for example, if you want to jump up in your favorite aircraft, you're probably going to have to go back into one of the earlier simulators, explain whatever it might be to be able to get your fix. Now, it's not unreasonable to expect this to happen because if you look at, say, consoles, when PS4 launch, for example, it launches with, say, 15 titles or whatever it might be. And so people hold on and play their PS3 for their favorite games for an extended period of time until that library is increased. So it's pretty much similar from a flight simulator point of view. Also, you might be flying for, say, a virtual airline, and it has a plugin that allows your flight data to be automatically uploaded to their site, and that stuff just might not be available on release. So with that in mind, that's going to encourage people to probably keep their existing simulation platform. The fourth reason is brand loyalty, because there'll be a number of people that will just stick with X-Plane no matter what, because they love the platform, they want to support it, and it's just what their favourite platform to flight sim on. Some of them will also have been burnt from their previous experiences with Microsoft. If you think back to FXX, where there wasn't a lot of development for a long period of time, where the game wasn't really optimized and all that sort of stuff. So they might be sitting back and saying, let's just see how this title develops before putting too much time into it. There's also the less reasonable angle where they're just a straight out fanboy, and even if FS20 was the best game ever invented, they're just not going to move because they hate flight sim series and they love X-Plane. So there are a number of reasons, but I just wouldn't discount brand loyalty as another reason why people will stick around with X-Plane. Okay, the fifth and final reason, everybody, and just before I get to it, please make sure you comment down below on all these points here. Let me know what you think personally, but the fifth and final point is existing platform development. So this is a bit of a challenge in the market. Flight Sim 2020, it's raised the bar by the looks of it, and so now X-Plane developers, Laminar Research, are going to have to up their game to try to match it and put out a compelling product in the next iteration of the game. As you know, that's a pretty natural development as you go through all the X-Plane, X-Plane 10, X-Plane 11, and each successive title is better than the others for a number of reasons, and so that's what they're going to have to do. And this is exactly what competition in the market does. It forces others to up their game, or else they will actually die. So I can see, judging by the development of X-Plane over the years, I think they'll rise to the occasion. We might see a bigger and better X-Plane in the next launch. So there you have it, everybody. There goes my take on whether X-Plane is going to be killed off by Flight Sim 2020. Clearly, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I actually think it's a really exciting time in the industry. It's been a while since we've had this much development going on, and to have 2, maybe 3 or 4 different platforms going head to head to get their market share, it can only be good for us. And we're likely to see more and more innovation and just some amazing developments in the next couple of years. So that's really, really exciting. So once again, please, if you did enjoy this video, smash a like button down below. That would be absolutely brilliant. And if you're new, subscribe. It costs nothing at all, except maybe just a little bit of self-respect. But once again, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.